and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a very special day. Today, the greatest conscious entrepreneurs solving some of the world's most pressing challenges will take the global stage to inspire the next generation. And yet, another year-long celebration of conscious entrepreneurship across the planet. I am delighted to welcome you all to the Entrepreneurship Sports Generation Global Finals 2021. I'm Shibani Dandekar, your host for today. At ESG, we are building a global movement to advance the UN SDGs by fostering conscious entrepreneurship, energizing entrepreneurship ecosystems, and inculcating an entrepreneurial mindset in the next generation. We welcome the world's greatest conscious entrepreneurs, the best 12, chosen from over 600,000 around the world, the most innovative solutions in diverse sectors, all working towards the same goal: to build a better future for all, guided by the UN SDGs, representing their cities, their countries, the final 12. From the US, Brazil, Switzerland, Italy, Nigeria, Kenya, Israel, Saudi Arabia, India, Hong Kong, and South Korea. This is the Entrepreneurship Sports Generation. Let the games begin. Get ready, we have an action-packed event ahead. I will be bringing you a blow-by-blow account of the action here from the tGELF studio. My co-host Ekaterina will give us a ringside view from the tGELF stadium. We are ready to start. May the best entrepreneurs win. Now I would like to invite the executive chairman of tGELF. Please put your hands together for Mr. Shiv.
Welcome to Entrepreneurship Sports Generation 2021. The world faces many great challenges: the climate crisis, economic, social, and gender inequality, extreme poverty, mass unemployment, growing numbers of refugees, and the challenges seem daunting. But the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals focus us on the challenges we need to address and have laid out a roadmap for us to try and address these issues. The question really is, how do we do it? And we believe at tGELF that entrepreneurs and an entrepreneurial mindset can help solve these problems. So our mission is that, using the metaphor of sports and all the inclusivity and all the fun that it implies, to activate and connect entrepreneurship ecosystems globally, to identify and support conscious entrepreneurs to help build a sustainable and equitable future for all. The Entrepreneurship Sports Generation wants us all to reimagine entrepreneurship as sport. Last year, over 300,000 entrepreneurs from 195 countries took on this challenge. And this year, we've had over 600,000 entrepreneurs join the movement, and we have curated over $500 million of rewards. Our partners such as the United Nations, Young Presidents Organization, Forbes, One Valley, Junior Achievement, Female Quotient, and many others have really helped us in this journey. And we have hundreds of partners joining the movement to really lead this solution to trying to deal at scale with the problems that confront us. The global goals are the world's to-do list, and we are the accelerator to the world's to-do list. We're very excited about 2021, and we look forward to 2022, when we hope we will be able to have not only virtual events, but physical events as well. Thank you for joining us.
are at the destination, the Global Finals. We will have 2 rounds of competition, knockout and spotlight. The first round, the knockout round, will see some hard-fought bouts, which will culminate with 6 entrepreneurs going forward. For these winning 6, the going gets even tougher in the next round as the spotlight turns on them. Our judges and select members of the live audience joining us in this virtual stadium from all over the planet will be voting to decide who makes it to the next round. So audience, are you ready? Just like the IPL, NBA, FIFA, NFL, EPL, this is one of the greatest sports leagues on the planet. A new generation that reimagines entrepreneurship as sport. Let us now proceed to the knockout round. My co-host Ekaterina will take us through the next round. Let's head to the ring.
Thank you, Shibani. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I am reporting live from the tGELF Stadium where the knockout round is about to begin. In this round, the 12 entrepreneurs divided in groups based on their stage will go head-to-head with their best pitches. After each set of pitches, our judges will deliberate and vote to decide which team will go on to the second round. Only one will come out victorious. But before we begin, let us welcome our esteemed ESG judges. Roxana Churse-Geder is an entrepreneur, artist and financier with a passion for impact investing and future-led innovations. She's the chairwoman of the Impact Advisory Board of White Oak Global Advisors, founder of PossibleX, and advisor to CEOs globally. Brendan Lane is the Chief Content Officer of Forbes Media and editor of Forbes magazine. He's a serial entrepreneur, having co-founded POV magazine and Double Down Media, both to great success. He created the Forbes 400 Summit on Philanthropy and the Under 30 Summit. David Meltzer is the co-founder of Sports One Marketing and formerly served as CEO of the renowned Lee Steinberg Sports and Entertainment Agency, which was the inspiration for the movie Jerry Maguire. He is a 3-time international best-selling author, a top 100 business coach, the executive producer of Entrepreneur's #1 digital business show, Elevator Pitch, and host of the top entrepreneur podcast, The Playbook. Farai Osfesioglu is the CEO of the World Humanitarian Forum. She is passionate about humanitarian aid and international development and has been involved in humanitarian and international development events since 2010. She has international expertise and has been a consultant of the United Nations. She was selected as one of the women leaders who will influence the future of the world by Goldman Sachs and the US State Department. Madge Thomas is president of the American Express Foundation and head of corporate social responsibility at American Express. She's a passionate changemaker and senior leader with 14 years experience in international development, nonprofit leadership, the United Nations, and public policy. AY Young is a producer, singer, songwriter, entertainer, and entrepreneur. AY began powering concerts using renewable energy, raising awareness about sustainability and fundraising to bring people electricity. Thus, the Battery Tour was born and has plugged in 17 countries to date. AY has been named as one of the 17 Young Leaders for Sustainable Development Goals by the United Nations.
This is your moment, now is your time, so prove yourself and rise.
What's that Bifrost? You are just dominating this entire game. Your keys is unstoppable.
Screw it, let's do it. Screw it, let's do it. Screw it, let's do it.
Screw it, let's do it.
We begin with the team selection for the first early stage knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder and CEO of Transmutex, representing the Geneva Eagles from Switzerland, Franklin Servan-Schreiber, and the co-founder and CEO of SoulCold, representing the Tel Aviv Leopards from Israel, Yaron Shenav. Franklin, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Franklin Servan-Schreiber, and I'm the president and co-founder of Transmutex. We aim to reinvent nuclear energy to make it safe and with no long-lived waste in order to provide energy, clean energy to the world. The problem right now is that we have too much fossil fuel. It doesn't look like wind and solar are going to be enough to decarbonize the energy by 2050. There are only three solutions. One is storage for wind and solar, nuclear fusion, nuclear fission. These are the only three possibilities. Right now, the problem with solar and wind is that the storage looks extremely expensive once we go beyond 50% penetration, and therefore we need something else after that point. The problem with fusion is that it's never been demonstrated. So maybe, yes, you hear about it in the media, but it might only happen at the end of this century, way too late. So we're left with nuclear fission. And nuclear fission is the traditional nuclear that we have today, which is scalable and works well, but for accidents such as Chernobyl and Fukushima, or long-lived nuclear waste that can last hundreds of thousands of years. Here, what we have is an idea that was conceived by a Nobel Prize, and it was demonstrated at CERN here in Geneva. And it's not just an idea on paper, it was demonstrated to create energy using existing nuclear waste. Indeed, we can reduce the volume of nuclear waste, existing waste, by 100 times, and the future waste from nuclear industry also. And we reduce the lifetime, the radioactivity of this waste by 1,000 times. So you go from 300,000 years, which is incredible and fathomable, to 500 years or less, which is still less than a plastic bottle in the ocean or even a cigarette butt in the ocean, and much less than CO2 in the atmosphere, which is 1,000 years. We have an amazing team with people from CERN and from the French nuclear industry that were at the top of their games, and everybody is pumped up. And what we have here is we want to be a business, but we are first a mission. We want to bring people together, and we have signed agreements with the Americans, with the Russians, with the Ukrainians, with the Swiss, with the Czech, and we want to reach out to India, Norway, Korea, Ghana. We want this to be a world effort. We have raised money for this first phase, which was bringing people together from New York-based Union Square Ventures. Now we're entering phase 2. This is where we want to go. We're super excited. And here we are. We're Transmutex. We want to accelerate the energy transition by bringing the world together to reinvent nuclear, to provide for clean energy to everybody. We think that's a basic need for humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Transmutex. Yaron, it's up to you next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Yaron, and I'm the CEO of SoulCold, representing the Israeli team. And what we do, we are creating films, coatings, which are cooling down when exposed to sunlight about 5 degrees below when measured compared to the shade. Now, why we do that? Our globe is warming, our cities are warming, and we all need cooling solutions. This is where we come into place. SoulCold has developed coatings that made out of layers, 4 main layers. Inside of them, there are embedded 2 cooling mechanisms. In the 2 main layers, this is the anti-Stokes fluorescence cooling mechanism working in the visible spectrum. And in the bottom layers, this is the radiative cooling working in the IR spectrum. All in all, our film are cooling down by 100 watt of cooling power per square meter, and it is patent protected. Let's talk about a real life experiment we did here on SoulCold Demo Center. We took 2 identical cars. One of them we coated SoulCold film on the rooftop and on the dashboard. And we leave it out in the open under sunlight, measuring the temperature inside the air temperature. We also did take a photo of IR image for the entire demo center, and where you can see distinctively the SoulCold car, the SoulCold rooftop, which is much colder than the rest of the balcony. The temperature of the air inside the car are measured For example, this is one day from midnight to midnight, and as you can see, the reference car, which is red, has reached about 48 degrees during noontime, while the so-called car, which is colored here blue, was reaching about 37 degrees, a difference of 11 degrees. We did another test with closed boxes, where you can see distinctively, again, one of them coated, one of them is not, measuring the air, temperature of the air inside. And again, you see a difference of about 10 to 11 degrees, but now, because it is closed, the temperature of so-called box was below the temperature of the shade measured next to it. Which is the reason why all these companies that you see in front of me, in the tier 1 automobile domain, in the chemistry domain, and in the electronics domain for defense and electronics, are performing pilots right now with us, paid pilots. Our plan to expand to 20 pilots by the summer of next year, and to have small production line and then a licensing model to expand further. The team of so-called right now are in the top minds in Israel in the field of physics, materials engineering, and chemistry, most of them with PhDs. Right now, we are cooling down by 100 watt per square meter, the best in the world, but we can even increase this cooling power per square meter. And the aim is to reduce also CO2 emission. Just imagine the entire city in Israel, rooftop coated with so-called, the peak demand during summertime will be reduced, and then peak consumption dramatically reduced. I would like to thank you all.
Thank you, Team So-Called. Great pitches. Judges, what do you have to say about those?
They're big ideas. The second, we have a lot of marketers here. So-Called, first of all, has a great name, but I thought that was a very effective pitch in that they're talking about something where they have the technology, it's patented, so it's presumably real. It would have a big effect, and they showed who the team was, how they're going to roll out. That checked a lot of boxes for me in terms of that's something I could see making a big difference. That's both theoretical, but that you could see within a few years becoming something that's a game changer.
I hate to discourage people from voting with Randall, but I agree with him. The first idea is, I think, much bigger. It's a longer term play. It seemed like great leadership and something that's worthwhile of investment. But considering what we're doing, this is a direct impact, an immediate impact, immediate technology, and what was well presented in the leadership there. When you get to the earlier stages, I like to bet on the jockey. I was hoping one would be far superior than the other, but I thought, that team and the leadership that I saw as an entrepreneur, with the execution he's had, that's a good investment. I'll bet on that jockey.
So actually, I would say, again, both teams are very interesting problems they're solving. I'm a bit biased, and the reason is that, in fact, if you ask me this question, I would vote for the solar. But I have got involved with Oliver Stone, actually, on a documentary on nuclear power, kind of demystifying nuclear power. So I really had the opportunity to study and understand more. And actually, I realized the impact through that. And it is, at the moment, the only green energy at scale available. And we've got existing also infrastructure. So anyway, so to me, actually, in terms of impact now, kind of having that knowledge and that understanding, I would vote for the first one. But again, both solving very important issue to me, so to us.
It's funny you said that, Roxana, because I was thinking the same thing. I've just had these conversations recently around the nuclear problem. I was thinking of it in terms of sort of near-term and longer-term solutions, because I think we're still a little bit away from the nuclear. And I feel like the second one is a nearer-term, sort of shorter-term solution to something that we're facing more immediately, and the nuclear is a longer-term. So I'm weighing them up, but I'm torn about that.
Yeah, it's a hard decision. I'm still going between both. Energy transition is something very important that we need to achieve to be able to actively fight against climate change. But the second one is a nearer term impact in a way. So it's really, this one is hard to decide, very hard.
Audience and jury, it is now your turn to decide who goes through the next round. Please choose wisely. Voting time's up. So let's see what the result of the round is. Are you excited? And the winner of this round is Soul Cold, representing the Tel Aviv Leopards. Congratulations on making it to the next round. The last two teams to enter the second early stage knockout round are Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder and CEO of Alva, representing the Fribourg Foxes from Switzerland, Maybrit Buskov-Bridges, and the co-founder and CEO of Zen Club, representing the Sao Paulo Jaguars from Brazil, Rui Brandão. Maybrit, the floor is yours.
Hello, I'm Maybrit Buskov-Bridges, the co-founder of Alva World SA, superfood that is good for you and our planet. My co-founder, Mine Uran, was the head of protein R&D at Nestlé and is an expert in alternative proteins. Myself, I come from the financial industry, and together we're building a powerful impact company. Alva is revolutionizing the food industry. Alternative proteins are set to reach 290 billion by 2030, and microorganisms are leading that next frontier of proteins. At Alva, we have cracked the barrier to get microalgae to go mainstream. We have a protected proprietary strain and several patents. We are experienced founders, we have a strong team, and supported by our board. We have partners such as Schweizer Zucker, Bühler, Firmenich, and M Industries. Our product is the most sustainable protein on the planet. It's a superfood with high levels of micro and macronutrients. It's revolutionary in taste due to the fact that it doesn't have a taste, and it's neutral in color. We have a strong R&D pipeline. We have already received many best product awards. We have an infinitely scalable production with very light capex. It's an innovative heterotrophic continuous fermentation process, which allows us to scale quickly and keep up with demand. Plant proteins have already had a great run, but now we're moving into the next generation that are going to be microorganisms. And here we can see that it's going to be growing at 111% compounded growth. This is where we are. So Alva has cracked the barrier to microalgae going mainstream. So normally chlorella or spirulina are bright green, have a very strong taste and strong color. What we've done is we have naturally got a golden, diamond, and ruby chlorella, which can be used in dry foods, in dairy, and in meat applications. We have a trade secret on our strain, but it is a fermentation process. It's a fermentation that happens in the dark with sugar. Once it's fermented, it's washed, it's dried, and it's packaged and can be incorporated into any food. There is no transformation or extraction done to the protein. It is therefore it is actually the most sustainable protein on Earth. We've done a full life cycle analysis, and here it's clear to see that it requires 369 times less arable land than for the production of meat. We have already a large range of products. They're all high protein and vegan products on the market. But on top of it, it is also a functional ingredient. And this is very important for the food industry, as it's got natural binding, gelling, and emulsifying properties, which can be used in dairy, in fish, and in meat applications. So join us at Alva in leading the second growth wave of alternative proteins. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Alva. Rui, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Rui Brandão. I'm a medical doctor and the founder of Zen Club. And Zen Club is the leading emotional health platform in Brazil. And we empower employers, individuals, and professionals to improve mental health through data, technology, and science. Here are a couple of big numbers of ours. We're now 5 years in the market, and looking forward, we recently did a study where we're estimated to impact the region in 1.2 billion reais. We now have a run rate of 22 million reais, and this year we'll do around 500,000 video consultations. We're a strong and obsessed team, helping people thrive in their life and getting empowered with their mental health. And we're now 140 Zens, that's how we call our employees, from all sorts of backgrounds. And so what's the opportunity, and what are we so eager to solve, right? Emotional health and emotional disease is an untapped market and a huge opportunity for us to impact society. So we're looking at just in the region, just in Brazil, it's almost 400 billion US reais, in productivity losses, in workforce disengagement, in illness. So, and this is what we're trying to tap. And what we're doing is we have an ecosystem approach. So we focus on employers, professionals, and individuals. So employers, they're facing the surge of employee emotional health and issues, and they don't have scalable resources or tools to tackle that. Professionals, on the other end, they have a lack of capacity to reach and close the gap between need and their resources. And individuals in the middle, right, us, people like us, still are hindered with stigma, don't know where to direct themselves for help. And it's also a very trial and error solving problem, right? So this is what we're tackling. And in the past 2 years, we've grown from 12 companies to 300 companies in all sorts of industries of all sorts of sizes. And now we cover the lives of 200,000 employees. And here's a case of what we've been doing in the past 2 years, right? Creditas, which is a unicorn in the region, a tech company. We started working with them when they had 700 employees back in January 2020. Now they have almost 3,000 employees. And it's beautiful to see how we've managed to, across 2 years of pandemic and across 2 years of scaling, the company and us together, we've managed to engage 30% month on month of their employees in order to leverage and improve their psychological safety, their productivity, and their emotional health. So I would love to welcome you in reinforcing Zen Club's mission of changing society by helping people live a fulfilled life.
Thank you, Team Zen Club. With one great pitch after another, we have now come to the end of the knockout round. Judges, over to you.
For me, the first pitch, really, you could see they'd come up with a technology that could be a game changer. Again, the thought of eating algae, microalgae, is a little, challenging, but I've had cricket patterns, so, you got to be open to new ideas. But that seemed, the second pitch, an important area, seemed like a good execution of something that's important and is being done elsewhere by other people, and seems like they're doing a good job. But the first, when we talk about creating an entirely new protein that's usable in all sorts of new ways, that seemed like a real, much more potential for scale and change for me.
So from my point of view, I agree with Randall. I'm very much passionate about the kind of future of food. It just happened that today, actually, I've been pitched a company that just closed a pre-IPO that is also doing with alternative to proteins, but it comes from a vegetable, from a pea. They're very advanced. They're doing IPO next year. So I would say I don't have enough knowledge to understand how really how crowded this market is. In one day now, I heard about 2 of these companies, but I really think this is a game changer in terms of, the future of food for us. The Zen Club, clearly super interesting. I think, again, what's unique there, I don't know, it's really the partnerships they will build, but I'm not sure, how unique is the technology. It's really about kind of scaling and how they can continue that growth. But again, both future of kind of mental health and the nutrition, very interesting. But I would say for me, it will be the superfood as more game changer.
Yeah, I agree. I've worked in bioactive dairy proteins for years, originally with Dr. Conley at MetRex. It's a huge space and competitive, but with the specific niche in that golden algae versus the smelly green algae, it's going to be a game changer. Not that both don't have their importance and impact, but I think, in my opinion, the second one edged it out. I mean, the proteins edged out the second one.
I think also with the second one, I think the data insights would be interesting to see. Like, I think there's interesting scalability and use for that. But I think with the first one, what struck me was that there was a real potential to address things like malnutrition or nutrition deficits in third world countries, et cetera, with a relatively simple solution, which I thought was really interesting with what they'd come up with.
Yeah, for me, I'd say, I was trying to figure out with the second one just how unique that one was in comparison to the protein. I think that the protein was beating it out. And then I also kind of looked at the leadership team. I did pay attention to the first slide, the lady that worked at Nestle, and it gave me a little confidence in like where they could potentially go even further as far as scalability. There's likability there. It's the future, as we know. So I kind of was leaning more there.
Yeah, future of food is definitely something very important. And again, from a climate change point of view, it is something that needs to be addressed. And Alva is suggesting something, although it's a competitive market, at least a market that is getting more competitive day by day, but it's more innovative when compared to the second one, in my opinion.
Audience and jury, it is now your turn to decide who goes through the next round. Please choose wisely. Thank you, everyone. And the winner of this round is Alva, representing the Fribourg Foxes. Congratulations for advancing to the next round.
They just want respect. I don't know if you guys are seeing what's happening.
I had a difficult time at school when I was growing up. There's been so many times that I've failed. There've been so many times that we've stumbled.
When we have this conversation about blackness, it's not just for black people, it's about all of us.
This is a time of emergency.
I want the 28.7 million women enslaved today to become free. I'm proud to be a woman.
There is no lockdown on hope.
Obrigado, Together Band! Obrigado, Brasil! Obrigado, mundo!
What an incredible platform for really supporting the best of ideas around the world and harnessing the power of entrepreneurship to tackle the unprecedented challenges that we face. I'm Cameron Saul, I'm the co-founder of Bottletop, the British sustainable luxury goods brand, and I'm a co-creator of our Together Band campaign, which sets out to drive global awareness and action in support of the Sustainable Development Goals framework and their delivery by 2030 through creativity and culture. I want to say a huge congratulations to all of this year's ESG winners.
Now it's time to move on. Let the growth stage knockout round begin. Ekaterina, over to you.
And now we begin the first growth stage knockout with the team selection. and gentlemen, the co-founder and CEO of Agnikul, representing the Bengaluru Elephants from India, Srinath Ravichandran, Vice President of Clinical at Ellipsis Health, representing the San Francisco Cougars from the United States of America, Melissa McCool. Srinath, the floor is yours.
Hi everyone, my name is Srinath. I'm one of the co-founders of this company called Agnikul, where we are building small rockets that can be launched anywhere, anytime, affordably. If you look at the market today, we have small satellites which are really small, but rockets that are really large. And rockets are just vehicles that carry satellites to space. And because of this gap in the size, there is a big need for rideshare. And unfortunately, rideshare is pretty inefficient in the market today. And because of this, there's a $4 billion per year market at stake just in terms of efficiency of getting to space. And that's the problem that we're really trying to solve here. We're building a launch vehicle or series of launch vehicles called Agniban, which is a completely customizable and a dedicated solution to go to space, which is almost 40 times faster than any launch vehicle that exists today, and at 1/10 of the cost that's possible. The vehicle itself, as you can see, is a 2-stage vehicle in the render here, and it's fully mobile and can be taken anywhere and launched from any location that the customer wants. What are we doing differently? 3 things. 1, our rocket engine is 100% 3D printed in one shot, meaning what comes out of a 3D printer can directly put into a vehicle. There is no assembly involved. Second, the vehicle is completely configurable. You can actually build a vehicle like you're building a Lego block model and configure it exactly to the payload you want and for the mission you want. So you're not taking a one-size-fits-all model to work for you. And finally, the vehicle is launchable from almost 77 launch sites across the world, which means you can launch from your backyard or any allowed launch site, as opposed to actually waiting to go to a particular infrastructure. In the country so far, I think there has been solid policy alignment for us that has been working in our favor. We are the first company in India to actually sign with the Department of Space to work with ISRO to launch. Also, at the same time, we have been backed by industrialists like Mr. Anand Mahindra, who has personally invested in this capacity. And all the more, I think we are also aligned with the nation's policy here. We have direct support from the Prime Minister's office in terms of making this a successful launch next year. Looking at how the trajectory looks ahead here, I think this is just the starting point. We're looking already at vehicles which can go from 5 to 500 kgs and which are completely customizable. Looking at bundle programs wherein it's not just about launch, but it's also about satellites. It's also about the last bit of processing. We're also looking at technologies which will drastically, improve the margins for us in our favor. We have enough cash already for 4 launches, and we're overbooked for the first launch. And our negative working capital model is actually helping us sustain even beyond that. I think for the first 1 to 3 years, it's going to be about perfecting this to a point where we get to about 150 million per year in revenue. And beyond that, it's going to be about exponential increase in margins to get to directly address the customer. In terms of the founding team, we have 4 people in the team today with experience in ISRO and in other engineering areas. Other than that, we have an 80-people team working for us full-time, and there are 12 ISRO experts also helping us in this story get to our vision. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Agnikul. Melissa, the floor is yours.
Hello, it's an honor to be here with you today to meet with all of you. I'm Melissa McCool, part of the leadership team at Ellipsis Health. In medicine, you can't manage what you can't measure. Today, for over 40% of Americans suffering from anxiety and depression, there is no objective and scalable way to quantify their emotional health. At Ellipsis Health, we use voice and AI to facilitate objective and scalable measures for the severity of depression and anxiety. Our vision is to screen and monitor mental health at scale. And currently, there's no scalable and objective way to screen and monitor mental health. We provide real-time voice analysis. We take in natural speech, and with our AI models, we present clinicians with a clinical decision support tool. This tool identifies and measures the severity of anxiety and depression, resulting in better patient experiences. Voice is everywhere. It's where biology and psychology intersect. We use the full spectrum of voice, both acoustic and semantic, the words people say and how people say them, to create a vital sign for mental health. Voice opens a new path to quantify mental health. For example, Evan is 22 years old, and he has moderate anxiety and severe depression. We got his permission to record this and share it with you. So let's play that so you all can listen.
So currently I'm living in a house with a couple of roommates, and the main concern for me is that I'm going to get cut off from my from my parents financially, and it's causing me a lot of stress. And
after analyzing Evan's voice, we present back his scores in the same format as the PHQ and GAD, allowing care teams to easily evaluate the results. You'll notice here that his scores, his actual PHQ and GAD scores, are almost identical to the scores that we returned to the care teams. Our models are trained on labels from FDA-approved instruments as well as clinical assessments, and our algorithms are built so that no baseline is needed. We scale an expert's ear to every encounter. With the workforce shortage of mental health professionals, scalable digital tools provide a way to ensure that no one falls through the cracks. As care teams view a patient results, they can personalize their treatment plans according to their needs, allowing for better care and better outcomes. Our technology has been rigorously validated in academia and in clinical settings. We have 6 published papers in top peer-reviewed journals, and we're 35% better than claims data analysis. We want to thank the ESG 2021 team for this exciting opportunity to present our solution to improving mental health care around the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. Judges, the ball is in your court now. Kindly deliberate and decide.
Do we need more satellites? And obviously the direction of rockets becoming smaller, but actually sending more satellites, I think it's a scary thought to me. And I looked quite a bit into the space, and clearly the second being a digital health tool and using it as something that is assisting the decision that is going to be scalable. And I think that's definitely in the whole digital space. It's as an area, it's definitely very interesting. So to me, both of these would be a clear choice from the point of view of what they are dealing with, solving the issue they're solving.
Just adding real quick, I think that number 2 absolutely is more aligned with what the set forth criteria is and the objectives of these 2 different companies as presented in the data that's in the chat. So just wanted to reaffirm, I think this one's clear.
Yeah, I'll second what David's saying. I thought number 2 was probably more aligned with like what we're kind of judging on. But I mean, both seem highly scalable, especially in the day and age where young people need the health thing, and then of course with the satellites and the rockets. And it seems like it's a big niche that they found. But yeah.
No, I was just saying that Agnicool is a cool company. And that's the kind of company I would put money into. The idea that you could 3D print a rocket is insane, but the questions about how it serves the SDGs is a fair one.
Yeah, I agree. I think the choice is clear, and especially mental health. And analyzing it from an objective point of view, I think it's going to be quite a change maker. So the distinction is quite evident, I think.
In terms of growth and scale too, I think there's potentially more prospect for the second one. I think the first one's already reached kind of a level of growth and scale that the second is starting to get to.
And now the deciding moment, the voting. Audience and jury members, make your choice. Thank you, everyone. This round goes to, let's see who all got it right. Ellipsis Health representing the San Francisco Cougars. Congratulations for making it to the next round. Let us begin with a team selection from the second growth stage knockout. and gentlemen, the chairman and CEO of NanoBioSim, representing New York Bears from the USA, Dr. Anita Goyal, and the CEO of Superbin, representing the Seoul Tigers from South Korea, Jeonbin Kim. Anita, the floor is yours.
It is a great pleasure and honor to be here today. My name is Dr. Anita Goyal. I'm the chairman and CEO of NanoBioSim in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Trained as a physicist and physician at Harvard and MIT, I've spent the last 25 plus years of my life working at the nexus of physics, biomedicine, and nanotechnology, at the convergence of these silos that typically don't always talk to each other. Our mission with this platform is to empower anyone, anywhere, anytime to have information in real time about what's happening inside of their own body at a very high precision molecular level. The COVID-19 pandemic has revealed to the entire planet how inadequate our current testing infrastructure is. We have been operating on an antiquated 400-year-old paradigm of centralized healthcare delivery and a 40-year-old technological infrastructure to fight this pandemic. This is like fighting World War III with a musket. Our solution to this problem is Gene Radar. Gene Radar enables real-time precision molecular information at a genetic level, at a DNA RNA level, in real time, at an affordable price, in a highly decentralized fashion. And that data can be live streamed to a cloud or a blockchain and provides real-time data and surveillance so that small outbreaks can be stopped before they become full-blown global pandemics. Our platform has undergone multiple clinical trials under the EUA pathway and has achieved EUA certification. We have also built a manufacturing facility in Massachusetts that's been ISO 1345 certified. We plan to deploy this technology in 3 key phases, initially to hospitals, nursing homes, and critical healthcare centers to focus on the most vulnerable populations like the elderly. Next, to help restore travel and trade by reopening the economy for the hospitality industry and the travel industry. And eventually, as we scale our manufacturing, this could be a service and a product that's available in every home for each individual on demand so they can be empowered to find out what's happening inside of their own body at any time, anywhere, in any place. We're doing for healthcare what Google did for the information industry, what cell phones did for the telecom industry, and what Uber did for the transportation industry. That is, we're radically decentralizing, mobilizing, and personalizing the next generation of how health and wellness will be delivered to our planet. We're building an exciting consortium of partners, strategic partners, customers, financial partners, and team members, the entire ecosystem that it takes. You know, they say it takes a village. We're building that village, engineering this ecosystem to help drive this transformation on a global scale. We would love to invite you to join this journey with us to raise the consciousness of how we deliver health and wellness care to 8 billion people on our planet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Team NanoBioSim. Jeonbin, the floor is now yours.
My name is Jeonbin Kim. I'm a captain of Superbin. Superbin is a company working with AI and robotics technology to design a solution for recycling problem. How much trash did you do today? Our global environment cannot cope with the waste any longer. Therefore, it is time to transform from linear economy to circular economy. Superbin has a business model with 3 value chains that make up the circular economy. Let's begin with the collection and sorting in our model. We are specialized in making a digital data explaining an identity of recycled waste. Our strength is AI vision technology backed by more than 70 million waste images from the householders. Nephron is the name of the digital equipment operated by our technology to collect and sort recyclables. More than 500 nephrons have been installed and operated in South Korea for the last 4 years, and another 500 units installation expected next year. We are working on a project with government to expand the range of recyclables we can collect by using nephrons in Busan, the second largest city in Korea. This is a concept image for recycling station equipped with our technology and product. Restaurants are located on the street and in an apartment. This is real practice in an apartment. The most unique value in this stage is the function to buy recyclables and reward for residents and users. Our second business model is logistics and storage service. This is a crucial function to recycle because contamination and mixing on the collected recyclables must be prevented. Otherwise, recycling cannot resolve the value as a material. We are providing a service in the city now. Here is an image for our trucking and warehouse in the city. The processing plant of recyclables is the last link of Superbin's circular economy business model. Superbin is constructing a waste-to-material processing plant that will be completed in March next year. This plant is designed with AI and data tracking process with servers for the quality control of processing materials, which will be the first case in the world. The difference of quality can be easily observed. Superbin is the first company is invested from all top 3 petrochemical companies in Korea. The main reason might be they valued of different approach to plastic waste, for example, how to collect by different sorting policy and how to apply digital technology and how AI works in this domain. We have defined the waste recycling industry as an ICT-based material industry, and we pursue a leader in this industry. We are a company pursuing resource recovery industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Team Superbin. One outstanding pitch after another, judges. Now over to you.
Yo, I mean, they both.
Everyone's got thoughts. I see that.
Right? Always got thoughts. Nah, dude, they're both like widely impactful. I mean, but the nano, I mean, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, yeah, I mean, I was impressed by what they both could do. Superbin for the individual, the nano biasm for like just the world in general. I'd love to hear from the other judges.
Again, both dealing with really important issues. Now, I wasn't that clear on the nanobiasm in terms of what type of testing they're able to do. So to me, definitely the future will be all, we have all the wearables now, and we are already having a lot of data reading right now. But what exactly they could do right now? So I wasn't very clear. Maybe I missed this part. And obviously the Superbin, I mean, I've seen some startups that are using AI as well. So that is actually able to sort also. So to me, what they are doing, again, both very interesting, but yeah, we probably would need more details. I would back both, to be honest. So tough choices. Would love to hear others.
Yeah, I agree. It's a hard choice to make. And I agree with you. I couldn't understand the scope and use of the testing with the COVID. Maybe they did not get the authorization as of now. But in regards to the second one, I look at authenticity a little bit. There are other organizations who are into that, maybe in the testing as well. But, in today's world, probably the testing mechanism is very important, and it should be something that we need to invest in from even business point of view. It's a hard choice, as I mentioned at the very beginning, and I would love to hear others as well.
I think on the first one, for me, what resonated was that it was a preventative health sort of model. And it was, I think the context we got in the chat was also helpful on it, because I think they really focused on the COVID part, but it sounds like a broader genetic, testing facility, in which case I think it would be really interesting and could have broad application under the SDGs. I don't know what the cost and affordability looks like, but that resonated with me. I think the second one, I had the same instinct about sorting. I was wondering if it was, just the sorting or repurposing. It didn't come across too clearly to me. So the first one resonated more for me because of its wider use.
Thank you, judges. Time to vote now. Audience and jury, over to you. Thank you, everyone. The results will be there in any second. And this round goes to Nano Biosim, representing the New York Bears. Congratulations for making it to the next round.
Salut!
E aí?
Namaskar.
Привет всем!
Hi, everyone.
Eu sou a Chay Suruí, sou ativista do povo Paité Suruí da Amazônia brasileira. Nós, os povos indígenas, lutamos diariamente contra a crise climática e pela preservação da nossa floresta. Mas para salvar o mundo, precisamos de uma construção global em todos os lugares, nos governos, nas empresas e nas pessoas. E é por isso que eu fico muito feliz de ver ótimas iniciativas aqui nessa plataforma única e global. Juntos, nós conseguiremos fazer o mundo um lugar melhor para todos.
Thank you, entrepreneurs, for your enthusiastic and well-thought-out pitches. Now, without letting the excitement or our guard down, let us head into the next round. Back to you, Ekaterina.
Audience, are you ready? Let us now see who the first knockout pair is. Ladies and gentlemen, the founder and CEO of Green Monday, representing the Hong Kong Dolphins from Hong Kong, David Young, and the CEO and co-founder of Twigger Foods, representing Nairobi Lions from Kenya, Peter Njonjo. David, the floor is yours.
Hi, I'm David Young, founder of Green Monday. Green Monday Group started 10 years ago with the mission to build a future global food system that is best practice ESG to combat climate change, food insecurity, public health, and also animal welfare issues. Our group has a multi-pronged strategy with our advocacy, our solutions, and also our strategic investment, with the goal to create a complete solution that really can move the needle in a big way. The world needs to go net zero. I think that's no secret, and the clock really is ticking. ESG is not just a charity, it's not just corporate social responsibility, but this is truly about business strategy and also how new age and new generation consumers will look at these corporates. Now, what Green Monday focus on is meat reduction, because a lot of people still do not realize that livestock industry contributes more greenhouse gas than all transportation combined, which means that simply by reducing meat, not to say everyone needs to be vegan, but simply to be a flexitarian, 1 day, 2 day, 5 days a week, for example, everyone can make a huge impact in terms of reducing climate impact, plus also live a healthier lifestyle. Now, what Green Monday does is we work with many corporates and also many organizations to really launch the Green Monday initiative with the internal stakeholders and the external stakeholders. And simply by doing that, we are actually tackling many goals under UN SDG, including climate action, life on land, life below water, good health and well-being, zero hunger, etc. One action actually is at the nexus of solving multiple environmental crises. And that's the reason why Green Monday has become a very popular ESG initiative among global firms, global conglomerates, who use this platform, who use their platform to engage both internal and external stakeholders, from hospitality groups to culinary institutes to real estate conglomerates, big professional service firms, and certainly, last but not least, food service providers, QSRs. Now, this is one example, which is our partnership with McDonald's Hong Kong, which launched our product Omniport Luncheon in the 280 plus restaurants and also 120 McCafe. And the idea is simply by introducing one option or more options of plant-based, many people start their green journey. They start to realize that actually today's plant-based option is not the same as the previous vegan choices that they thought. And this is becoming nutritious, appealing, and of course, environmental friendly. So these are some of the examples on how Green Monday as a group kick off this global movement and truly hope to engage billions and billions of people to go green together.
That was Team Green Monday. Peter, the floor is now yours.
Good afternoon. My name is Peter Njonjo, CEO and co-founder of Trigger Foods, and I wanted to share a little bit about the problem that we're solving and how we're going about solving it. So the problem that we're solving is out of food security. And the reason why this is the case is because of the fragmentation of retail on the continent. When you look at, unlike other Western markets, when you look at the structure of retail on the continent, on the African continent, it's extremely fragmented. This represents about 80 to 90% of retail. When you compare this, for example, to the US, where maybe the top two retailers account for about $1 trillion of consumer spend, it's a far cry in terms of what you can achieve in terms of supply chain efficiency. So what you see in Africa is that there's layers and layers of intermediaries, and there's really been no focus around productivity and efficiency on the production side, just due to the unstructured nature of trying to access the domestic market. Just to give you an example, a ton of tomatoes in California costs about $100. In Kenya, which is a much poorer country, costs about $420. So not only are consumers spending more on food in terms of relative to their incomes, but also in absolute terms. And when you put all this together, it starts framing a challenge around food security on the continent. Not that the food is not available, but the cost of this food is actually beyond the reach of many consumers. There's three things that are also happening on the continent, and this has been also exacerbated by the COVID pandemic. One is that household disposable incomes on a per capita basis are actually declining when you adjust for inflation. Two, the population growth on the continent, or urbanization on the continent is happening at 2 times the rate of population growth. And when you have this rate of urbanization on the continent, infrastructure in the urban cities is really not catering for the influx of people moving into these cities. Third is that telecommunication companies are actually transitioning a lot to plus 4G networks. And this was all an idea around pivoting their businesses more towards data, which is starting to drive an ubiquity in terms of smartphone penetration. So what do we do as Trigger? One is that we start aggregating the informal retail using our technology platform, where retailers are now able to access a wide variety of products using their mobile phone on the app. Today, 75% of our revenue comes from our mobile app. So what does this allow us to do? From a supply chain standpoint, it allows us to really start streamlining what we produce. When you think about fresh produce and you think about consumer CPG or fast-moving consumer goods, we're starting to launch our private label. On the vendor side, we offer lower prices because of the efficiency that we build. We provide last-mile delivery through our logistics platform. And with all the data we collect, we're starting to offer value-added services, including embedded financing for the retailers. Thank you, and glad I could share more about Trigger.
That was Team Trigger Foods. Over to our esteemed jury panel for their deliberation and decision.
You know, I thought the first pitch dealt with the problem more than it did the solution, and thought it was heavily outweighed by Green Monday, which was very solution-based, very clear of a quantitative value and the extent of the partnerships that are already in effect seem to be a much more impactful current business and for the future as well. But
I didn't understand what Green Monday was doing other than kind of a marketing service. Like, where's the technological advantage? It didn't seem like anything that couldn't be done by pretty much anybody 20 years ago. Like, what's the value added?
And I would say, to me also, even though the issue of kind of the idea of Green Monday is very much close to my heart, I also see it more of a kind of mind-shifting campaign, which obviously is very important. To me, the Twiga Food actually has got more of a technological and is solving, they've got an aggregation model, and I think the problem they're trying to solve is of huge importance. And to me also, it's a kind of technological kind of content versus more of a marketing. So I would vote for Twiga Foods.
Hey, yeah, I'll just kind of second that and just say I think Green Monday it seemed inspirational, more on the marketing side, on the campaign side, on the movement side. But I think something a little more concrete in technology, maybe more of a business model in that sense is with Twiga. So I agree.
I just want to add that I think the impact of Twiga is much more substantial, but I think there's a million great ideas, and looking at the practical implication and execution, it's those who take things to market. If you look at, the majority of successful companies in North America, they're basically taking their technology, other acquired technology, other people's technology, but the best marketers, like Amazon, end up having the most impact on the world.
And I would say that I think from a corporate point of view, the presentation from Green Monday resonated because they connected it with what companies are also thinking about, including ESG, including the SDGs, and how to actually implement those. So I thought it was a clever way of sort of giving companies what they're looking for in kind of a packaged marketing approach. And agree with you, Randall. I think, it probably is more of a kind of campaigning bent to it. But I think having one thing I saw in it was I think they're giving companies also the insights of how to actually communicate to their employees about this, how to embed it within what they're doing. So from a corporate perspective, it was something that I would find quite helpful as a tool for businesses.
Thank you, judges. Audience and jury, the voting is on. Please vote for the team of your choice. The voting time is over. Thank you, everyone. So let's see what the result of the round is. Are you excited? Green Monday, representing the Hong Kong Dolphins. Congratulations on making it to the next round. We're on the next match of the late stage knockout round. Here are the two teams. Gentlemen, the founder and CEO of Weiray, representing Zurich Chamois from Switzerland, Vitaly Ponomarov, and the CEO and founder of Monarch Tractor, representing the Palo Alto Pumas from the United States of America, Praveen Panitza. Vitaly, the floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Vitaly Ponomarov. I'm founder and CEO of Weiray. We're a global deep tech company, vertically integrated and #1 in the world in holography. So what we're doing the only true augmented reality displays for the car industry that helps to navigate in most natural way and also helps to entertain people when they sit in taxis or robo-taxis, and that allows to show more contextual content in true augmented reality. The company is is a technology company. We have developed many cool things, like we've developed new materials, new software for simulation of these materials, and these optical systems based on these new materials, new lasers. We have competences in electronics, in optics, in software and mechanical engineering. And we do this to create a new market around augmented reality glazing of vehicles that we believe will be $1 trillion market by the amount of transactions by 2030. And currently we serve as suppliers to the automotive industry, but we also have dared to create a completely new product based on our technology, which is our car. We call it Metaverse on Wheels, or the car name is Hologracta. This car has many features, and in our opinion reflects the vision of how the mobility will look like in the future. So first of all, it has augmented reality glazing and allows people to sit in the ride-hailing car, observing the content and also interacting with it. Like it could be games, social networks, shopping, education, and that all happens during the ride in the taxi or in the ride-hailing car. Because of that, we see that more people will be able to afford personal transportation because it will be cheaper, because it will be subsidized by sponsored content. The car also has other features. For example, it has a remote control feature that allows to drive it remotely, so drivers can work from wherever they want to. It will be better for cities, also better for the communities. The car also has the air knife that splits air into 3 pieces, which is very important in our COVID times. So this is a really disruptive business model many companies, many car makers don't see. And we have a vision of doing deep tech. So one of our values is do deep tech. That means that we are going somewhere everybody else afraid to go. And it's a long-term vision. So I encourage you to use this long-term vision, because many challenges of our planet require really long-term vision that is usually against the venture capital paradigm, where venture capitalists want to get their money back within 3-5 years. So yes, thank you for listening, and hopefully you like our ideas.
Praveen, you're up next.
Hi, I'm Praveen Penmetsa. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Monarch Tractor. At Monarch Tractor, we're building a sustainable food ecosystem. A third of our greenhouse gas emissions comes from farming and soil-related activities. And when you couple that with the challenges that farmers are facing all over the world, a combination of labor shortage, which happens even in Asia, challenges on meeting the sustainability demands, and also about the data traceability that every consumer wants to know where their food came from and how it was grown. The answer to all of that is a platform that is all electric, that is driver optional or autonomous, and should be a smart platform that collects the data that everybody is looking for. And that's exactly what our Monarch Tractor does. It looks like a tractor, but it's actually an all-electric platform with an optional driver feature. And while it's doing autonomy, it collects data and provides that not just for the farmer, but also for the buyer and also the consumer at the end. The reason we have been successful in developing this kind of game-changing technology is because we have a very experienced team of ex-Tesla, ex-HP, ex-autonomous leading researchers from the world are part of Monarch Tractor. For the farmer, the tractor not only works with old school implements, but it also provides connectivity and power for the next generation of smart implements, which need additional sensing, additional electric power, and are going to save a lot of money by being attached to an autonomous tractor platform. What does this mean for the farmer? Money savings, both from diesel savings as well as labor, but also being able to meet their sustainability demands from their buyers as well as the consumers. The reason we have done a small tractor is because this is the largest mechanization tool in farming, which gives us a huge market opportunity around the world. These tractors are used everywhere from America to Asia and Africa. We are also supported by some of the leaders in farming and farm technology, whether it's Case New Holland, that is the largest farm equipment company, or even Indian companies like VST Tractors and Tillers see the opportunity of our technology that can be applied in India and in Africa. This has been a very fast journey for us. Again, our experienced team, coupled to the kind of demand that we are seeing from farmers all over the world who want to use our tractor, has led to an accelerated growth on our side. Our tractor is now in farmers' hands, using existing people and existing implements, and already decreasing the emissions footprint of farming. Why emissions footprint? This is the best ROI, is to have electrification of farm equipment. And that is from a McKinsey study. And that's exactly what we're doing, is providing an electric, automated, smart platform. Again, at Monarch, we're building a clean, sustainable footprint here. Let me show you a short video to show you the possibilities of what our tractor looks like and what can it do for farmers around the world. And what you see here is our tractor out in the field, doing exactly the kind of operations I was talking about. It's an old school mower that is running in the field without a driver in the seat, saving the farm money, but also decreasing diesel emissions and providing data on what's happening out in the field to the buyer and the consumer, creating a virtuous cycle for all of us. At Monarch Tractor, we are creating a sustainable food ecosystem, one that is profitable for the farmer, one that is healthy for the soil, planet, and the community.
With one great pitch after another, we have now come to the end of the knockout round. Judges, over to you.
Companies that are pitching like they're the Stanford business idea competition. These are just ideas. You know, they clearly have had success, yet there's no kind of metrics on growth, on impact, sustain, you know, on market penetration, viability. So, you know, they both sound like great ideas, but neither of them did a very good job of saying that they're worth backing. I don't have, I couldn't tell you, to tell you the truth.
You know, one or the other. I do these pitch competitions all the time. This is a matter for the two of them, which one you like better. And for whatever reasons you like it better, because especially with the difficulty you'll have in these competitions with the bigger companies, is that you cannot convey in 3 minutes, you know, which is the better one to back. You know, these are months of due diligence, of trusting and vetting who it is. So I think this has to be an emotional, subjective vote when it comes down, or, you know, it's futile.
One thing I thought was missing was, my first concern was safety on the road, and they didn't address it at all. And I wonder if you're going to do a sophisticated pitch around it, if that you head off any concerns as well as talking to the benefit.
I mean, I'll jump in and just say, yeah, I mean, the first one was a hell of a cool vision, right? And there's so many different questions involved with both of them. But if I was going to look in the lens of like SDG, or I was just really listening to how the second guy spoke about soil, spoke about, you know, aggregation of data, you know, the autonomous vehicle stuff, the electrification of farming, it just seemed like he was having more of an environmental impact. And when we talked about what this thing was, it was, you know, ESG. You guys are talking about SDGs. I'm obviously one of the 17 SDG young leaders, so that speaks my language a little bit more than the futuristic, incredible, you know, first presentation. So it's hard when you don't have like all these other pieces of the pie and this company to really see how it can scale, and all those different thoughts you guys are bringing up. But I'll just make that note.
And from my side as well, I think both super interesting. I mean, on the second one, indeed, the Monarch Tractor, now even lots of data, you know, electrification of farming equipment, for sure, very interesting. But actually, you know, we also realize that the whole farming actually might be completely disrupted. So actually, this is solving for certain immediate problem. You know, the first one, slick presentation, my sons would have loved it. And yes, but, you know, metaverse is the future, we know as well. So it's really very hard to make the choice.
Yeah, I just want to jump. I agree with AY Young. Really, I looked at these two presentations from the impact point of view. Yes, the first one is all about technology, and it's great. It's going to be the future. But the second one, Monarch Tractor, I think addresses certain challenges that are going to be a bit kind of midterm rather than very, very long term, although we need to address the long term one and also the impact on the SDGs and climate action, climate change, I think.
Audience and jury, it is now your turn to decide who goes through the next round. Please choose wisely. Thank you, everyone. And the last winner of the knockout round is Monarch Tractor, representing the Palo Alto Pumas. Congratulations on making it to the next round.
The first miner is now out safely and a nation breathes a sigh of relief.
Today, Nelson Mandela is a free man. He walks into a new South Africa.
Millions of people everywhere stand together for women's rights.
And one ball remains, the last ball of the inning.
And another big shot. The West Indies have won the Cricket World Cup.
Congratulations, Monarch Tractor and Green Monday, for making it to the next round. All of these pitches were incredible. I'm sure the judges had a tough time deciding the winners. With that, we've concluded the knockout round. I was holding my breath the entire time. We had some wonderful ideas, incredible companies, such a great competition, and congratulations to all the winners. I would now like to invite Mrs. Gauri Ishwaran, Vice Chairperson of tGELF, to share a few words about ESG youth.
Thank you, Shibani. At ESG, we believe in fostering conscious entrepreneurship in young minds. And ESG Youth was launched as we felt that we need to reach out to the very young, even at the school level. And we are convinced that the leaders of tomorrow will then find creative solutions to the many crises facing the planet.
Embers is a student-led company. Our company's mission is to be one of the leading suppliers of affordable energy.
I really like this idea that if you are willing to help someone and you truly care about it, think out of the box and you will always find a way to do it.
Put it into the molds and we'll sun dry it for 2 days and the final product is here for you.
Our company's vision is to accelerate the world's transition towards sustainable, affordable, and recycled energy.
The tGELF and the ESG are used to provide the right kind of environment.
The trust is now on entrepreneurship and becoming self-reliant.
And this is something that has really deepened the go-getter spirit inside of me, and it's made me want to learn more about the world of entrepreneurship and about myself.
So, watch out for us.
The first miner is now out safely and a nation breathes a sigh of relief.
Today, Nelson Mandela is a free man. He walks into a new South Africa.
Millions of people everywhere stand together for women's rights.
And one ball remains, the last ball of the inning. And another big shot. The West Indies have won the Cricket World Cup.
I'm thrilled to be talking to you today as young entrepreneurs all competing in the ESG games, because I think that this is how we're going to change the world. We founded the Global Goals campaign so that we could achieve a world in which the global goals are achieved. And we really believe in the goals as a framework by which we can all monitor progress. So I was delighted when I heard about a competition which would unite thousands of entrepreneurs, all using the goals as a framework to see how they can improve the state of the world. I couldn't be happier to see this competition taking off, and I wish you all the very, very best of luck.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Sports Generation 2021. It's a unique and exciting platform that inspires conscious entrepreneurs to find ways to be the best player for the world. A huge shout out and congratulations to everyone who participated, and of course hands up to the winners of this ESG Global Finalists 2021. Remember that we are all stronger together. You are, and trust that you are a player in the world, and also just never stop playing. Have fun.
Getting a rocket to the moon wouldn't have been possible without a plan. Building a pyramid, winning the Super Bowl, advancing industries, even a domestic function as simple as following a recipe needs a plan. We need a plan. Everybody needs a plan, and the Hispanic community doesn't have one. So today, we're going to be here to make sure that we create one plan. And we will learn from people that have successfully not only created a plan, but implemented it. Like Martin Shanahan, the CEO of the Industrial Development Authority of Ireland. When I met Martin, he told me that after the recession, they all got together and implemented a plan to take Ireland out of the recession. And through that one single plan, got everybody together, all agencies and all the population, and we're much faster in the recovery than other countries, for example, Greece, that spend their time debating and discussing.
Hello, everyone. My name is Natalia Vega-Berry. I'm the founder of the Global Brain Foundation and executive producer of the new Zero World campaign. I'm delighted to be part of Entrepreneurship Sports Generation 2021, and congratulations to all participants and winners of this year's ESG Global. My work is focusing on impact. I was fortunate enough to have the opportunity to leave a work that wasn't fulfilling and follow my purpose. As you may already know, the entrepreneurial path is one of courage and passion. A mentor once told me that if you're passionate about something and work hard, everything will eventually fall into place. Failure usually occurs because people give up when they are not seeing the results they want immediately. If you are persistent, you will see the results you want. If you give up after a month because you only have 100 social media followers, for example, that's where your story ends. So stay on your path and do the right thing, because if you have the willpower, everything eventually happens. Challenge yourself. Do work you really care about. Take a risk, have a vision, and take action one day at a time. We're living in an extraordinary moment in human history, one of challenges and opportunities. So I hope you stay on your path and fulfill your vision and purpose, because the world really, really needs you. All best wishes for all, and thank you so much.
Each time our actions inspire our community to be better. We become one.
I think we can all be great at something.
Your contribution, even very small, will make an enormous difference.
That's all a refugee wants to be able to do, is to thrive.
We need your help in the fight against world hunger.
Our kids are all the future.
The next 10 years will shape the next 10,000 years.
If you come together, you're stronger.
Education is the key.
Clean water and sanitation is not a luxury. It is a necessity.
So this is a massive issue that we have to address now. We are destroying their world.
Make the climate crisis personal. This is a time of emergency.
Through sustainable fashion to make change.
Together Band is about that. It's about equality globally.
I believe in choice and the right to choose your own identity.
I want everyone to get equal pay for equal work.
I am proud to be a woman.
These people deserve to have what we have.
Enough is enough.
Welcome back, everyone. 12 finalists now shortlisted down to 6. The spotlight now turns to these 6 entrepreneurs who enter the second round. They will make their elevator pitches. They will be questioned. And based on these, the top 3 winners will be chosen. Without saying, this round is going to be tougher. So keep praying and cheering for your favorite entrepreneur. And now, get set, go. Let the spotlight round begin.
The atmosphere is absolutely electric over here, Shibani. You can hear the audiences cheer in the background. The audiences and the judges are very excited for the spotlight round to begin. Let us now meet the judges of the spotlight round. Ashish Advani is President and Chief Executive Officer at Junior Achievement Worldwide, one of the largest youth services organizations in the world. Ashish is a lifelong social innovator with a passion for entrepreneurship. His experiences as an entrepreneur and founder have been chronicled in case studies at Babson College and at Harvard Business School. Ashish is also an author, keynote speaker, and an adjunct professor. Deepa Bühler-Kostler is the founder of Inde Wild, a conscious and holistic beauty ecosystem. She's a global influencer with over 1.6 million followers on Instagram. She co-founded Post for Change, a unique non-profit organization that brings together the immense reach of social media influencers, their online platforms, the online generation, and the power of social media to achieve social change. Carolyn J. Lutz is Managing Director at Monterosso. Her goal is to help build and deliver excellence to the European private equity and venture capital executive search practice. Carolyn is a long-standing member of the Geneva board of the Swiss-American Chamber of Commerce and is on the board of the De Vigier Foundation. Dr. Tatiana Kazakova is Chief Strategy Officer, co-founder, and one of the 2 managing directors of Leaders on Purpose. Her focus is developing the pathway for a systemic transition towards a systems logic in service of our planet and society. Prema Shah co-founded Kiva.org, a crowdfunding non-profit that's raised over $1 billion in 0% interest capital for microfinance entrepreneurs in over 70 countries. Premal has launched Renewables.org, which enables anyone to invest in accelerating clean energy across India and Africa. He has been recognized as a young global leader by the World Economic Forum, an Obama White House Champion of Change, and selected to Fortune magazine's 40 Under 40 list. In the spotlight round, the top 6 entrepreneurs will go head-to-head with a 90-second pitch followed by a Q&A session.
I hope the teams are ready for the next round. Alva, representing Fribourg Foxes from Switzerland. Sol Cole, representing Tel Aviv Leopards from Israel. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the early stage spotlight round.
Team Sol Cold, the floor is yours.
So hello again, my name is Yaron and I'm the CEO of Solcold. Just a quick reminder, we have developed coatings that have an active cooling power while they are exposed to the sunlight and the clear sky. having about 100 watt of cooling power, about 5 degrees below temperature measured in the shade. And where we can implement this, basically anything and everything which is under sunlight and there is a need to cool it down, be it containers, be it ships, airplanes, buildings, cars, my t-shirt, and even into space. But I want actually to narrow down on a very specific market, the automobile market. In Israel, for example, you have 3.5 million cars running around in Israel, all of them emitting CO2. Now, just imagine that you are coating the rooftop of all these 3.5 million cars. The result of it will be a reduction of CO2 emission as if today you're taking out 500,000 cars off the road. Interesting. Another impact that I want to touch is during summertime when people are forgetting kids and animals, they are injured and even die. The reason is because of the hot temperatures inside the car, which are reaching 55 degrees. A so-called coated car will reduce temperature dramatically and will make the kids and the animals live for hours and hours. Thank you.
Thank you, Team SoulCold. And now let us begin the Q&A session. How do you plan to scale production from the R&D stage?
Very big question. Okay. Now, specifically, I would say for our type of company, which is nanoparticles, which is layers, which is new materials, it is quite a road. It is not that straightforward. The way for us to do that is right now we are producing that in our lab, and every day by day we are improving this one and improving that one so to be ready for mass production. Second stage for us is the small production line. Again, we're going to start producing there about 100 square meters a day. And again, changing this and changing that in terms of the production line. And only then to build large scale production lines in Israel and both with our partners. And then we will be fully mechanized.
Do you have customers today? And what use cases are you addressing?
Well, definitely yes. Again, as I mentioned, we have the running pilots right now. It is more or less divided into the electronics as we are approaching and the large chemical silos. We have a company from Japan, which is a 5G cellular company. We have a defense company from Israel. Both of them are example for the electronics company. And we have two very large chemical silos that already have, again, the pilot running. One of them is the pipeline, Israel pipeline from the Red Sea to the Mediterranean Sea, and another one is the Italian company Yara. And the use cases is as I mentioned, and from that point of the pilots, this is the initial sales that are generated from.
What impact can SoulCold have in addressing the climate challenge?
Well, this is quite a straightforward question. Any rooftop, anything which is outdoor and coated with SoulCold, we have a large temperature reduction. It will be colder than the shade. Now, if it is going to be colder than the shade, it's going to be much, much, much colder than it is actually right now. The temperature differences that we see right now from the actual type of rooftop in any use case are between 8 degrees in a very, very good white reflective paints solutions to about 25 degrees difference. Now, what are the impacts? It really depends on the scalability of how our solution is going to be spread globally. Now, just imagine an entire city rooftops coated with SoulCold, just the buildings, let's say. And then you will have in the hot countries, instead of the peak demand during summertime because of all the air conditioning, now you have a complete reduction of energy consumption because they will not need any more. Another thing which I want to touch is the urban heat island. Now, I don't know if you know about this, but in hot countries, inside the cities, temperature in the streets are about 5 degrees hotter than in the field next to it. The reasoning is because of the roads absorbing the radiation and because of air conditioned units which are emitting heat. Again, a city coated with Solcool, you will have a reduction of temperature inside the city roads itself.
Team Alva, a request for your 90-second pitch.
I'm Maifried Buskop-Bridges. I co-founded Alva together with Mine Uran, who was the head of protein R&D at Nestle. At Alva, we have developed a range of high-protein vegan foods with our unique golden chlorella microalgae, which is not only the most sustainable protein available today, but it is neutral in taste and in color, and therefore can be easily incorporated into everyday foods without changing consumers' habits. Microorganisms are the next frontier of alternative proteins, and our innovation has broken the barrier to getting microalgae to go mainstream. As a functional ingredient, our Alva chlorella has excellent binding and emulsifying properties. It comes in many colors, from white for dairy and red for meat applications. This competition is about ESG goals, right? So let's talk about impact. Currently, 15% of the world's CO2 emissions come from animal proteins. If we just reduced meat consumption by 5%, we would save 260 million tons of CO2. So I invite you to vote for our high impact startup. And together, we can offer food that is good for you and for our planet. Thank you.
Amazing, Team Alva. And now let us begin with the question and answer session. What is your current production capacity? And what is your strategy to scale?
Great question. So our first investment round, our Series A, we raised money to be able to scale up our production because we started with a very small production process and we could only really get 5 tons. So we scaled up production to 50 tons. And what we've been able to see now is because of our heterotrophic continuous fermentation process, all we need to do now is add new fermenters or bioreactors and scale up from there. So as demand comes in, we'll be able to very quickly scale up, and we don't require a lot of capex for that scaling up process.
Is your product price competitive with other sources of protein? If not, when will it be?
No, at the moment we are not in the same price competitive range as traditional sources of protein, whatever that may mean, whether it's animal or plant. But it is something that we are conscious of, and we know that as we scale up production, which at the moment is very small at 50 tons, we will be able to reduce that price. And really the objective is to bring the price down below the price of plant protein.
What is your business development strategy?
So we started Alva with a range of high protein vegan foods. So for example, our pasta, which has 22% protein with the chlorella already integrated into it. And we started selling those. We started in Switzerland, we've moved into Germany, into the Baltics, into France, and slowly expanding through Europe with our sales of our finished products. So we call those our B2C products. The reason why we started with finished products and not going majorly into huge production was because we wanted to get a feel for the market. So our finished products have really been our proof of concept and are sort of a window to show these are the types of products that can be made with this Alva chlorella. So the next step now, as we've scaled up production, is to be able to offer our functional ingredient to other food manufacturers. And this is a very interesting time because many food manufacturers are looking for natural binders, are looking for ways of replacing yeast and, for example, methylcellulose in their production process. And this is where our Alver can come in and replace those chemical binders with something which is completely natural.
Judges, I'll turn it over to you to decide who's coming out victorious for this round.
Yeah, maybe I start in terms of impact. Very first, it's really a very tough question, because both are obviously addressing such big, significant issues that at scale. I mean, nutrition of the planet is obviously a huge issue. So I would tend to go towards them. However, they're finding the right nanotechnologies of all materials of the future. This is a great, I believe, might be great transition technology, at least for the next 20, 30 years until we have a better way of how our cities run and how we build. So yeah, that is a tough one, I must say.
Part of it, both of these are early stage, really promising technologies, some validation. And I think one frame is, where are we most catalytic? You know, in which of these two firms would a win be most catalytic in terms of helping the idea really broad base?
Yeah, I was going to say that they're both B2B. So Premal, to answer your question, I think the exposure that would come from winning, particularly in the institutional capital space, would be very significant. And I think it could help both of them get significant awareness. Because I do think that as much as Alver said, it's not a capital intensive business, I think to truly create lasting change, it will take capital for both businesses. I thought the presentation from Alver was stronger, at least that's my personal view. She came across as an inspirational type of leader, but Carolyn, you're absolutely right in asking the question. If she's not CEO, then she's part of the co-founding team, and why did the CEO present? But aside from the slight preference from inspiration, I think the scalability of the second business is so substantial. I mean, I'm surprised he didn't start with, if we painted every rooftop in a city, here's what would happen. He didn't start with that pitch. If he had, I think my vote would have gone to him.
My personal opinion is, if they both pan out as the founders or leaders dream, the second one, the Soul Cool, to me has a much bigger potential globally to make a difference in our world.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I landed as well.
Having heard everyone, I think, again, I agree. It's just purely from presentation and being salesy, I think Alver was better in that sense. I think Soul Cold could have been better at their pitch. But indeed, I think when it comes to just the business and the one that could benefit our world better, I do think Soul Cold is my pick as well, to be honest. But maybe they should get a better spokesperson next time. But I think Soul Cold was, the business is solid. So.
You know, working in the sports industry, I know that game day brings out the best in every competitor. Entrepreneurs working to advance the Sustainable Development Goals really deserve that same spotlight and cheers that we give our very best athletes. And as you, as entrepreneurs, enter the arena today, remember that your fellow competitors aren't rivals, but they're peers working toward the same dream.
What a round. Please give a big round of applause to our finalists and our judges. So much pressure, and it looked like our contestants didn't break a sweat. The pressure is on our judges now, and one thing's for certain, I do not envy their job. There were some fantastic answers from our finalists, and I would invest in all of them. Thank you, teams and judges. Let's now fly to the growth stage, Spotlight 1. Nanobiism, representing New York Bears from USA. Ellipsis Health, representing San Francisco Cougars from USA.
What a spectacular round. I'm sure that these entrepreneurs will definitely inspire many. And now it's time to start the growth stage spotlight round. Team Ellipsis Health, the pitch is yours to pitch.
Ellipsis Health is a machine learning health tech company that identifies and measures the severity of stress, anxiety, and depression through patient speech. In medicine, you can't manage what you can't measure. Today, for over 40% of Americans suffering from anxiety and depression, there's no objective and scalable way to quantify their emotional health. Rather than being identified and treated early, for many patients with anxiety and depression, they only receive treatment once a crisis begins. And once they're in treatment for their care, the teams don't always have the data to personalize their treatment plans. And this results in poor outcomes, long waits, and expensive reactive care. At Ellipsis Health, we found a better way. We're harnessing the human voice like doctors have done across the centuries to pioneer new data-driven standard for mental health care. Our machine learning algorithms analyze both the acoustics of the voice and the semantics to identify and measure one's severity of depression, stress, and anxiety. Our HIPAA-compliant modular technology can plug into mobile apps, patient portals, and telehealth calls to provide unparalleled insight for care. Utilizing our solution creates data-driven care, workflow efficiency, and positive economics for payers, providers, and digital healthcare companies. At Ellipsis Health, we're improving mental health one voice at a time.
Thank you, Team Ellipsis Health. And now over to the question and answer session. What aspects of mental health does your technology address?
Well, Ellipsis Health products cover the subject of mental health in the following areas: stress, anxiety, and depression. These we feel are the most affected by the global population. They're the highest prevalence as compared to other mental health diseases, and it affects all walks of life, and also affects productivity as well as mental well-being. The aspects specifically of those stress, depression, and anxiety, mental health issues that we affect are the triage, assessment, and monitoring. Because right now there's no objective and scalable way for this to happen.
What do you use to capture the data needed to diagnose mental health conditions? And how exactly can this data be collected?
The way our solution captures the data that is needed is using the patient's voice. Voice is everywhere, not only within the four walls of a mental health or healthcare organization, but voice is everywhere as we talk. It's the primary method and the most ancient method of communication. And we use this to assess the internal mental state of an individual. We do this by a number of different ways. Number one, we can use an app that asks free-form questions and that allows the user to speak as they want. Or a different way is to listen to a conversation with permission, of course, that is already going on between a healthcare team member and a patient.
Mental health is strongly linked to cultural context. To scale globally, how will your product address cultural differences?
That's a great question. And especially when you deal with technologies in artificial intelligence and machine learning, bias is always something that you need to be aware of. When we create a database, for training that reflects the population on which it is being applied. Therefore, if we create a database to train a model that's going to be used in an American context, then we use American voices to train it. If we use a product that's going to be an Asian population, then we use a database filled with Asian voices. So it's very important, and it's a great question to make sure that biases are not promulgated through different databases, that you use one that reflects the population.
Team NanoBioSim, the pitch is yours to pitch.
We're harnessing over 20 years of research at the frontier of physics, biomedicine, and nanotechnology to bring to you a platform called GeneRadar. GeneRadar will decentralize, mobilize, and even personalize your healthcare experience. GeneRadar is a mobile, digitized diagnostic device platform that allows you to diagnose any disease with a genetic fingerprint in real time at an affordable price with gold standard accuracy. The gold standard of medical diagnosis today is based on a Nobel Prize-winning technology called PCR. PCR is the foundation of a multi-billion-dollar molecular diagnostics industry that relies on bulky, expensive machines. We are bringing you the next generation. Gold standard, high precision, digitized, mobilized, decentralized, and personalized diagnostics. We're revolutionizing how you diagnose disease. By placing the appropriate body fluid into a nanochip, we can rapidly analyze the genetic fingerprints identifying the disease. We've harnessed our unique capabilities to precision control nanomachines that read and write DNA to enable real-time continuous monitoring of your health. What Google did for the information industry and cell phones did for the telecom industry, that's what we at NanoBioSim are doing for healthcare. We are putting your health in your hands.
What an inspiring pitch, Team NanoBioSim. And now let us begin with a question and answer session. What is your long-term vision for your GeneRadar technologies?
What is the longest-term vision for GeneRadar, and what ways can it influence the future of healthcare? I see GeneRadar as a platform to help radically decentralize, personalize, and mobilize the next generation of infrastructure with which we deliver health and wellness on a global scale. What I mean by that is our entire paradigm of delivering healthcare right now is based on a centralized model that dates back to the last industrial revolution of the late 1700s. What Google did for the information industry and what cell phones did for the telecom industry, that's what we at NanoBioSim are doing for healthcare, which is a radical decentralization, digitization, and democratization of how a person gets information about what's happening inside of their own body.
How do you plan to scale up and target market opportunities?
We have built the hardware, the software, the biology, and the nanobiophysics, and now are building the digital infrastructure to bring this new kind of user experience to health and wellness. Typically, you go to a hospital or a centralized lab to get information about what's happening inside of your own body. Through nanobiophysics and GeneRadar, we're making it possible to put the very highest level of precision data and information at your fingertips in a very consumer-friendly way via our tricorder or GeneRadar's platform about what's happening inside of your own body. And our plan is to bring this to a global scale via two business models. The first one is more like Uber, where we provide testing as a service through digital hubs, It's more like a digital diagnosis system where you provide the testing, the high precision data, the data analytics that helps you make sense of what to do with that data. This is like a testing as a service model. The next business model is much more like Apple, where you could imagine a device platform in every home, every airport, every school, every business. So you can get the highest level of precision testing and information about what's happening inside of your own body in real time, truly decentralized manner. This would help to stop outbreaks like COVID before they become full-blown global pandemics. I see this as a radical decentralization, even a personalization of how you experience your own health and wellness care. I like to call this a shift from a heliocentric to a more geocentric point of view in healthcare, where instead of you revolving around the healthcare ecosystem, the system now revolves around you. You become empowered. The individual becomes empowered so that anyone, anywhere, anytime has the ability to access information about what's happening inside of their own body in real time. I like to say we help you become the CEO of your own health. So the doctors, nurses, everybody else in that ecosystem become advisors to you as you make decisions about your own health. A good example of this radical decentralization of an industry is seen, for example, in the telecom industry. If you look at countries like India or continents like Africa, they went from a few 100,000 landlines to over 1 billion cell phones in less than a decade. In this way, wireless technology, for example, radically decentralized and democratized access to a commodity called telecommunications. In a similar way, the internet decentralized access to information. Likewise, I think what the COVID crisis has done has accelerated the ecosystem's readiness and demand for a decentralized access to testing and information about what's happening inside of our own body. The COVID crisis has revealed the inadequacy of our current healthcare infrastructure. It's not only opened up a tremendous demand for testing, but it's revealed the current dissatisfaction with the status quo. In the United States, for example, there's a recent Harvard study that predicts that the United States needs about 20 million tests a day to keep the US economy open in the midst of a new surge. However, the current testing capacity of the United States is less than 10% of the current demand. So there's a real deep need for a disruptive solution like Gene Radar that can help overcome some of the infrastructural bottlenecks and the older centralized paradigm of healthcare. I believe it's time for a change. And part of this change is not only scaling up old technologies, but rewriting the rules of the system. You have to go from a centralized to a decentralized system.
Over to our esteemed judges to deliberate and decide the winner.
I think Anita did such an amazing job of being inspirational and also communicating the transformational impact and her metaphor of heliocentric to geocentric probably, I know did it for me, but made that for some others. I saw you all nodding when she said it. I'd love to hear your viewpoints as well.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think she was extremely inspirational. I didn't quite understand her technology yet. So if she was live, I would have loved to ask her more about that. And I think same goes actually about how do they, for the next business, what was it called? Ellipses. I didn't quite understand that technology fully. So like, how do they use the voice? Like, do people call someone? Do they have their cell phone? Is it a separate machine? So I think I'd have loved to get to the bottom of both of them a bit more. But you're right, I agree with you. The first one was the strong winner for me.
I actually have a dissenting opinion on this one in that it's true that it's a cool technology and she did a great job presenting it. However, it's just sort of an incremental step in making it easier to diagnose and faster. Having said that, mental health is everywhere, and it's a huge problem. And there are no easy diagnostic tools out there like this, in my opinion. So I think it's maybe an underappreciated problem. Put it that way, that this is a potential solution to.
I must, I agree with Carolyn, and in terms of the issue that they're solving, mental health, I mean, the pandemic shows it, but it has been already so deep in our society. It's one of the biggest issues in the world that we're facing, and also the youth coming up with climate change. And so in terms of impact, non-incremental impact, and finding someone that tries to figure out a way to make it, of course, I mean, it might be full of bias and it will not be there yet, but I feel what I really loved is that not just one person presented, but actually they brought the team on. I felt the answers felt very authentic and thinking also about the whole, whereas in the first case, of course, she knows what she's talking about, and she probably comes from exactly that background, and it's probably great technology that can be scaled. However, I also think impact and the team, the feeling that I get is really the second one.
Yeah, I mean, both are just so important, mental and physical health. So one thing that gets me excited about Ellipsis is that when we look at the world's poorest people, oftentimes mental and emotional health, this is something that there's just not enough resources to adequately diagnose and treat. And the promise of Ellipsis, like a lower cost technology coming in to broad-based care, is really exciting. That being said, just given the potential of Anita's company around, I mean, we saw what happened with the pandemic and the inability to rapidly diagnose, everyone really. I mean, that it created just massive trouble. So, does anyone else have any kind of additional insights or observations based off of what you've seen? It seems like this can't, we have two camps here amongst the judges. I feel like I hang in the balance a little bit on this one. Would love to hear others.
Remo, maybe I can jump in and respond to some of what's already been said. I think you really framed it well. I think the issue in my mind with mental health is the diagnostic side of mental health is such a small part of the issue, because the problem is so prevalent, and I think we in our hearts already know that. You talked specifically about lower income populations where we frankly ignore it when we should identify it and address it. But the solution or the business as proposed here is primarily a diagnostic tool, not a treatment tool. So in many ways, I don't think it's sort of sufficient to really address the problem at scale. While I think in the case of Anita's business, who I think I saw that she won the X Prize, I think the idea of patients being in control of their own information on the physical health side has so much more potential to actually lead to solutions. But I may have limited knowledge, so I fully acknowledge that I may not know exactly what I'm talking about.
Let me just build on your point, Ashish. One thing, it was pleasing to me to see the X Prize validation for Anita's business. And I know that New York Times and others have covered this in the wake of Theranos, which might be the elephant in the room around, deep science, women-led startup. I hear that there's actually headwinds that women leaders in this space have now faced in the wake of that. And so I think, when I think about kind of how we can be most catalytic, how we can kind of shine a light on things and create a new narrative that is dominating, there's kind of a unproductive narrative in some ways at this intersection right now out there in the media. I think this is really exciting. And so, therefore, given the X Prize validation, I think Anita's business is actually quite promising and would be worth highlighting.
Hey everyone, welcome to Entrepreneurship Sports Generation 2021, the Global Sportified Entrepreneurship League, a unique and exciting global platform that established entrepreneurship in a sports and entertainment format, a global platform that inspires conscious entrepreneurs to give back and build back better.
What shall I say? That was intense. Right from the entrepreneurs giving it their all and the judges questioning it all and the entrepreneurs convincing them all, I was completely riveted to the action. Just in case you missed it, there is one more to go. It's the last bout of the finals. Monarch Tractor, representing the Palo Alto Pumas from USA. Green Monday, representing Hong Kong Dolphins from China. I hope the teams are ready for the next round. Let us now take off into the late stage spotlight round. Back to you, Ekaterina.
The more I hear this entrepreneurs pitch and answer the questions, the more I believe in the power of entrepreneurs in solving the world's problems. I'm looking forward to the final round for today, and I'm sure that you are too. Team Green Monday, the floor is yours for the 90-second pitch.
Hi, I'm David Young, founder of Green Monday. Green Monday is a global movement and ecosystem that is designed to combat climate change, food insecurity, public health, and animal welfare crises. A lot of people do not realize that our choice of food actually can make a huge difference in the world. Livestock industry contributes to more carbon footprints than the entire transportation industry combined. So what that means is simply by reducing meat consumption, we can all make an impact. Saving the world doesn't need to be just resting on the shoulders of government leaders or corporate leaders. We, as each individual on the planet, we can all make a difference. With the Green Monday ecosystem, with the advocacy, solutions, new protein innovation, our idea is to first create a movement that explains why we need to change, and the framework to engage a lot of corporates, institutions, organizations, and families on how to go green together. One day a week, it is a simple action that we can all take and can contribute to the climate and global sustainability in an immense way. So my appeal to all of you is simply by starting your Green Monday. Of course, any day you like, but that is one simple way that we can all make a big difference.
Thank you, Team Green Monday. And now let us begin with a question and answer session. What makes you different from other companies developing plant-based meat substitutes?
Omni Foods is one of the leading alternative protein brands, both in Asia and around the world. Our leading categories of products includes Omni Pork and Omni Seafood. The reason why we first chose to do pork and seafood alternative is because those two are among the most consumed animal protein in Asia. 65% of meat consumed in China is pork, and 73% of global seafood consumption happens in Asia. So simply by targeting those two, we believe we can do a lot of positive impacts, both in terms of ocean conservation and climate change. Now, in terms of health proposition, Omni focus a lot on nutrition profile and also our ingredient list. So our products are made from non-GMO soy, mushroom, rice, and these are all natural ingredients. So compared to many of our peers, we have shorter ingredient label, but at the same time superior nutrition profile. And the idea is we want to create products that are not just more sustainable, but truly more healthy for everyone who consumes it.
Tell us more about the program at schools and what has been its impact.
One of the signature programs and collaboration that Green Monday loves to do is to work with schools and student groups to implement this initiative within campuses or outside. Now, it is always good to start habits from young, especially when we are talking about sustainability. Many, many young people globally are champion of fighting climate change, and they want to make a difference. Now, by working with the schools and the students, Green Monday provide them with the framework to say, for example, by reducing meats by, let's say, 50% within the cafeteria, and then the entire school of whether it is 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000 students can become virtually 50% plant-based. So changing on the supply side and also raising awareness on the consumer or demand side combined can create a very impactful combination that can move the needle. And once we do that with one school, we can scale that to many, many schools to come. So that is how we started in Hong Kong with all the primary and secondary schools, as well as universities, and then scale from Hong Kong to regional in Asia and then global. And it has become a massively impactful program that many schools now are doing this voluntarily, and they are seeing very tangible difference and change among the students and also campus behavior.
What is your global business development and partnership strategy?
One of the signature programs and collaboration that Green Monday loves to do is to work with schools and student groups to implement this initiative within campuses or outside. Now, it is always good to start habits from young, especially when we're talking about sustainability. Many, many young people globally are champion of fighting climate change, and they want to make a difference. Now, by working with the schools and the students, Green Monday provide them with the framework to say, for example, by reducing meats by, let's say, 50% within the cafeteria, and then the entire school of whether it is 10,000, 20,000, or 50,000 students can become virtually 50% plant-based. So changing on the supply side and also raising awareness on the consumer or demand side combined can create a very impactful combination that can move the needle. And once we do that with one school, we can scale that to many, many schools to come. So that is how we started in Hong Kong with all the primary and secondary schools, as well as universities, and then scale from Hong Kong to regional in Asia and then global. And it has become a massively impactful program that many schools now are doing this voluntarily, and they are seeing very tangible difference and change among the students and also campus behavior.
Team Monarch Tractor, can we please have your 90-second pitch?
Hi, I'm Praveen Penmetsa. I'm the CEO and co-founder at Monarch Tractor, where we are building a sustainable food ecosystem. Farmers all over the world are struggling with labor shortages, with demands for increased sustainability and reduced emissions. At the same time, more traceability data on how they are going about their farm operations. All of this is creating a tremendous challenge on farmers all over the world. With our all-electric, driver-optional smart tractor, which acts as a platform for farmers to not only do operations out in the field, but also meet the demands of consumers and buyers all over the world, the farmers now get to make more money, reduce the emissions footprint, and also get more data on what is happening in their farm so that they can reduce their application of precious resources like water, fertilizers, and pesticide, but also provide that data to the end consumer and use that data to tell their story to the end consumer and be able to get more for their crop than ever before. All of this is very important as we try to transform our food ecosystem to one that is sustainable, not just for the soil, not just for the planet, but also more profitable for the farmer and something that is more healthy for the consumer as well. This leads to a tremendous opportunity in the field of agriculture for not just Monarch Tractor, but other entrepreneurs as well who want to help play a role in this transformation of farming into a sustainable food ecosystem for all of us on the planet.
Thank you, Team Monarch Tractor. And now let us begin with the question and answer session. How long will it take for a farmer to break even and make profits using your tractor as compared with a regular tractor?
The beauty of the Monarch Tractor is thanks to the combination of electrification and driver optional features, our tractor pays itself off in less than 18 months for our fruits and vegetables farmers. They do this with a combination of diesel savings versus the electric tractor that we have. And also in terms of the labor savings, their existing driver can manage 6 to 8 tractors versus just driving one. So the combination of these two results in a payback period of like under 18 months for all of our farmer customers. And that's without any subsidies. If you put in subsidies, some of our customers are seeing 3 to 6 month payback periods.
How easy or difficult will it be for the global majors in their industry, such as Mahindra & Mahindra, John Deere, Massey Ferguson, etc., to emulate your product and adapt their existing product lines to compete with you?
The Monarch tractor is a transformational product because it's a combination of not just one component of a tractor, but the fact that we have taken 3 different things, which is the electrification of the tractor platform. We have taken the automation of the whole tractor operations. And also we have taken the smart sensing technologies and agronomy technologies and mashed it into one. So this makes it very hard for existing players to emulate that. In fact, keeping my words aside, the fact that industry leaders are licensing our technology is proof of the competitive advantage that we have, and one that we'll continue to have into the future because we bring a very different data-first mindset to the product and to the tractor. The tractor is no longer a mechanical device. It's an operational smart device that tells the farmer what is happening and what should happen next.
What is your global business development strategy?
The beauty of a tractor platform like Monarch Tractor is that you find it everywhere, not just in the fields, but you also find it in landscaping, cleaning up roadways, airports, etc. And from a farmer perspective, this compact tractor class is the most commonly used mechanization tool in farming all over the world. So it's no surprise that farmers all over the world have reached out to us asking about when they can get one of our tractors into their fields. And that goes from farmers in New Zealand, all the way up to farmers in Norway, farmers in Japan, all the way to farmers in Chile and Peru, all of whom are seeing this unique combination of electrification, automation, and smart features as being core to their future success as sustainable farming advocates.
Over to our esteemed judges to deliberate and decide who is moving to the next round.
I'll just jump in. I think I'm a fan of Green Monday for the following reasons. One, behavior change is so hard for humans. And if you can find more ways to have our diet kind of decarbonize our diets through this, and they're making real inroads. They've gotten backed by some marquee players, TPG, Bank of America. I mean, they're really getting traction. That's, I think, in terms of just impact, that's huge versus a model like Monarch, which seems to improve, farm productivity, farm efficiency. There's some marginal decarbonization benefit in terms of electrification of the tractors, but I think we're just talking about different levels of magnitude in terms of climate change benefit. And, I think Monarch might be kind of the best in the world at what they do, but I think we're here to decide what's best for the world. And I think Green Monday is much more compelling.
Yes. Building what you said, I fully agree. I mean, behavioral change, making the everyday decision of a consumer as simple as possible to take the better choice is one of the greatest levers for change, as we know. Another part that I also think it's significant, it comes from Asia. So it comes really from an area where if it goes viral, it has huge impact. And it can be also a role model for the rest of the world to see that actually something like this works at scale. This is the second one. And thirdly, I must also say the rhetoric of what he's using, he's very clearly a leader for the planet. So he's absolutely doing everything he can to bring this up. And this very likely is also not very easy in the region that he's working in and working on. So that he has already this success speaks as well, I think, to the product and to the team behind him. And Monarch Tractor, I don't think that they necessarily need to win this to make their business model viable. So if they're already licensed and if they work already with the Mahindras of the world, then there will be application for what they're doing, and they will have a good, they will build up. But in terms of impact, I would also go for Green Monday.
Well, just to stick up for Monarch Tractor, I don't think Green Monday is really unique in what they're doing. There are a number of companies around the world that make products like this. So while they might be more advanced and they've had some creative ideas how to get it into consumers, and I agree, if you can avoid habit change, that's the best. But I see that there are a lot of companies out there with similar offerings, whereas I haven't heard of any other electrified AI-enabled tractor company, especially one that pays out so quickly for farmers who are struggling in many parts of the world. So don't know if that's strong enough, but but that was my argument.
Carolyn, can I just jump in with a question on your last point, which is, I think about who wins and who loses on a farm, and I think about automation and how that displaces farm labor. And if you just kind of as a source of income, I'm like, is there a goal of efficiency always, and at what cost? And so I don't want to be stuck in the past around this one. I imagine the world is just getting faster and more efficient, and we'll have to figure out a way to make capitalism humane. But how do you think of that, or how do we think of that in light of the impact that we want to have here?
It's a great point, because I think the U.S. is a country that has a lot of enormous farms, and that's where something like this Monarch tractor can really have an effect. But maybe in other countries where the farm plots are small, you can't use something like this. And anyway, it would displace the labor, as you say, who are relying on this as income.
Yeah. I think like what you said, Carolyn, Green Monday is not a particularly brand new idea in the meatless world section, but I do think the way they're doing it, and the way I think what Tatiana said, the founder seems really like a visionary, like he really wants to create that change. And what for me, it really stood out was the fact that he went to schools as well, and that he was trying to bring that out, roll it out to the next generation. That is the Gen Z, that is the activist age, that care about this, that could make the big impact that are required. I think purely because socially he's so strong, I feel like this could be quite the brand that would take that idea of veganism and make it cool, and make it not like the other, but that we're all in this together. And so that's, I think, why my vote would go for Greenpeace as well. Yeah.
Green Monday.
Green Monday. Greenpeace. Green Monday, indeed.
Greenpeace is awesome too.
They are.
So let me jump in and say that, it's rare to find an entrepreneur who's private equity backed, has true movement building in the way he or she speaks. And I got that sense from Green Monday. I think many of you have said that there's that rare talent. And so I think giving him the platform of being a winner from this, I think could really genuinely help the world. So I think ESG would be accomplishing its mission at scale if we select him. So that's why I advocate voting for him.
Ladies and gentlemen, with the final set of pitches and questions and answers, we come to the end of today's competition. We will meet you after a short break for a very special segment.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was the last round of ESG 2021 Global Finals, and what a round it was. So much pressure, and it looked like our contestants didn't break a sweat. Now the pressure is on the judges to pick the final winners. I must say that they have quite the job on their hands, because from what I've seen, every contestant is fantastic, and I'm still having a tough time making my winner choices. But I guess it would be much easier for me if I just let the judges do that job. While the judges make their decision, I would request ESG's Executive Director, Anne Rosenberg, to introduce the ESG Social Enterprise Awards.
Welcome to the Entrepreneurship Sports Generation 2021, the accelerator to the world's to-do list. The world has big problems. The climate crisis, gender inequality, extreme poverty. Problems of this scale need big and innovative solutions. This is why entrepreneurship is key. The World To-Do List was launched at the 76th UN General Assembly and at COP26, which recently took place in Glasgow. During the entire year, the focus has been on race to net zero and race resilience. And as we gather at COP26, it was clear that only via a strong entrepreneurship mindset, we are able to build solutions which are scalable, accessible, and affordable for all. The global goals are the world's to-do list. The movement of social entrepreneurs have never been more important. While it has been great to see the many social entrepreneurs who have joined the ESG 2021 social entrepreneurship track this year. It has been difficult to select the 3 winners, while I'm excited to announce the winners of ESG 2021 social entrepreneurship track. Alessandro Amilota from A-World, representing the Touring Bulls.
Hi everyone, I'm Alessandro Milotta, CEO at A-World. We're an Italian startup that is also a B Corp that aims to create culture of sustainability. If we talk about sustainability, we need to talk about us, the people. We know that the people play the biggest role in climate change. And to remind us about this, there's also this year letter from Larry Fink, CEO at BlackRock, underlining the importance of stakeholder engagement on the topic of climate change, also at the business level. So we studied why we're not taking climate action on a daily basis, and we've noticed that 77% of the people actually want to learn more, but they don't know where to start. People find a topic complicated when we talk about sustainability. People actually are missing an incentive, but most important, people fail to see the impact of our daily actions. And this is why we built A-World. A-World is the one-stop gamified platform that wants to educate, engage, measure the impact, and reward people for climate action. We've been very lucky since we've been selected by the UN as the only app worldwide in the world to promote, that can promote the Sustainable Development Goals and that wants to engage people around the world on the topic of sustainability. So we're being invited by Under Secretary General Melissa Flemings to support the Act Now campaign, the campaign for individual action on climate change and sustainability for the UN. So you can see the app on the UN homepage and on the Sustainable Development page. This partnership, of course, brought us worldwide with all of the channels and the official channels of the UN are talking about us. The launch since 2020 brought us to generate 4 million climate actions worldwide with over 100,000 users and a massive impact where we measure the savings of water, CO2, electricity, and waste. We do this with our own methodology called Impact Engagement, made of 3 pillars. The first is the awareness side, where we go and talk and inspire people with inspirational content. The second part is the engagement side, where we list some simple actions that you can take on a daily basis, participate in challenges and events. And the third is the measurement of your impact and then the reward of your impact. A-World is not just an app, it's also an ecosystem of services, where we go and measure and track use of public transportation, shared mobility, energy consumption, and your purchases. And we reward you for taking the most sustainable service that you can do on a daily basis. 2 ways of doing business with us. The first is the A-World Teams. You can create your own community inside our app and further engage and educate your stakeholders. Or the second is using our platform as a loyalty and reward program that can reward you, as I mentioned, for the use of public transportation and so on. We've been very lucky that we launched this business model in early May, and we've been working with companies worldwide as Bayer, Cognizant, Capgemini, but of course the biggest collaborations for us is with the United Nations. So thank you for watching.
Ekaterina Vittori from Edama representing Jeddah Gazelles.
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to introduce Edama today. Edama was founded as a spin-off of King Abdullah University of Science and Technology, a world-class university based in Saudi Arabia. Edama is tackling the global issue of landfill pollution. Landfills are a major source of air, soil, and water pollution and are costly to build and maintain. And the issue is becoming more critical every year, with waste generation in the MENA region alone projected to increase of 70% by 2050. Organic waste is the major pollutant in landfills, contributing to 90% of the CO2 equivalent emissions. That's why many countries around the world, including Saudi Arabia, are setting ambitious targets to stop landfill pollution and promoting more sustainable waste management practices. The good news is that organic waste contains precious resources such as nutrients and organic matter that can be looped back into the system to restore arid soils. At Edama, we convert organic waste into valuable resources for desert agriculture, enabling tree plantation and land restoration projects. Edama's mission is to create a local circular economy that benefits our society and aligns the social, fiscal, and environmental targets set by the 2030 vision and by the UN Sustainable Development Goals. We take action by providing turnkey organic waste recycling solutions for large-scale to small-scale organizations, handling each project from the planning to the execution phase. Other waste management companies are typically concerned with reducing the amount of waste that goes to landfill and produce a very low-quality, low-grade compost, which often ends up in landfill again. Edama instead is focusing on building processes and products that turn organic waste into valuable, high-quality products for desert agriculture. Our products support the conversion of arid lands into fertile soil, and by producing the soil improvers locally, we have a big impact in local communities, supporting the agricultural sector, building a resilient supply chain, enabling tree plantation projects and reducing carbon emissions, fighting water scarcity and desertification, and improving local food security, allowing farmers to grow more food with less water. Edama funding team is composed by myself with a PhD in statistics and a strong background in sustainability, Saud, our lead in business relations with a background in engineering, and Mitchell, our CTO, with a strong background in plant science and composting. And with this, I'd like to thank you for the attention and invite you to find us in the news.
Akinci Fila Bui from Salubata, representing the Lagos Lions.
Hi, everyone. My name is Akinci Fila Bui, and I'm the CEO and also a co-founder at the brand Salubata. And at Salubata, our mission is to invent lifestyle technologies that help people and the planet. We presently occupy a niche where we make customizable shoes from recycled plastic waste. And so to date, we bootstrapped today to reach a revenue since 2019 of $350,000. We currently have over 1,400 recurrent and paying customers, and beyond that, we've also gone ahead to further validate our cause by winning at these national, international, and global competitions. And so the question lies in why we do what we do. In a year alone, there are over 381 million tons of plastic waste produced. Sadly, just only about 9% of this waste have ever been recycled, like ever. We have another situation where we have a lot of recycling companies around, but the volume of the plastic waste in the environment not only remains constant, but also more in the environment. And so what we see is that we have more people reusing this waste rather than recycle or upcycle it. Right now, we currently have over 5 trillion plastic still floating in our canals and oceans today. And so with a background in environmental science and shoe design, we started imagining if we could convert all of this plastic waste to footwear. We also realized that the potential for impact is so huge. And so for us, we also saw a huge market opportunity, particularly in the sustainable footwear market. By 2027, this will be worth about $12 billion, of which we are just really open to take just about 10% of the footwear market share. And our competitors are currently unicorns, and we are really hoping that by 2027, we'll become more. For us, our business model is primarily direct sales to end customers and also B2B. And beyond that, we also currently have a patent on this invention. And aside this particular revenue stream, we're also creating limited edition version of these shoes that are sold on our marketplace, which we are currently building, and these are NFTs. And beyond that, we are currently also opening our APIs to other businesses to also list their businesses, their brands on our NFT space. Because we also realize that the downward impact of these pollutants affect the people in the underserved communities the most, especially the women, we decided to commit 5% of our profit to the cause of empowering women in these communities. And so here are our value propositions. And for us, just about 10% of our B-shaped market, just about 15,000 people will be able to empower 556 women in underserved communities, convert over 1.5 million tons of PET plastics to shoes, and also create over 200 jobs per annum. And here's our team with core competence in customer acquisition and design. We have complementary skill set that is necessary to scale our impact. I am the CEO and an environmental scientist. This is our CEO, our project manager, and this our CTO, who is a blockchain architect. We also have key advisors from the likes of Nike, Adidas, and many more. And so here are our key acquisition channels, which are primarily digital. And for us, we commenced in 2019 with patent and design rights on our invention. We also currently have a shoe sizing app known as SoulFitter. And so for us, we raised to date over $150,000. And so we're currently trying to close this round of $1 million in seed round by the end of November. This will enable us to reach over 30,000 monthly recurring customers and further boost our franchise in the coming year. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much for believing in us. Thank you.
Polo, the sport of kings, where horse and rider become one. Like all athletes, there's training and dedication first, and then results follow. The spirit of polo embraces the challenges of our entrepreneurs who, driven by passion, fight it out in a hostile environment. The Geneva Polo Club congratulates impact entrepreneurs, visionaries that give us reason to believe in a bright future.
Ladies and gentlemen, the moment has finally come. I will now announce the names of the early stage winners. The early stage bronze winner is Transmutex, representing Geneva Eagles from Switzerland. The early stage silver winner is Alva, representing Fribourg Foxes from Switzerland. The early stage gold winner is Solcold, representing Tel Aviv Leopards from Israel.
Congratulations, teams. And now let us hear from the early stage gold medal winner, Solcold, representing the Tel Aviv Leopards. We would like to invite the founder and CEO of Solcold, Yaron Shenav.
Thank you, ESG! As a startup founder, I can tell you that the ride has many ups and downs, and this is definitely one of the best ups. It was a pleasure participating in the arena. I have the utmost respect from my fellow competitors, and being rewarded here tells me we are doing something right. Thanks. And don't forget, we are the coolest company ever!
And now announcing the growth stage winners. The growth stage bronze winner is Superbin, representing Seoul Tigers from South Korea. The growth stage silver winner is Ellipsis Health, representing San Francisco Cougars from USA. The growth stage gold winner is Nanobiosen, representing New York Bears from USA.
Congratulations to our growth stage winners. And now let us hear from the gold medal winner, Nanobiosim, representing the New York Bears. We would like to invite the chairman and CEO of Nanobiosim, Dr. Anita Goel.
It is indeed a great honor and pleasure to be awarded this prize today. I would love to thank Chef Kamka and the organizers and the jury members and all the entrepreneurs for all the wonderful work they put into making this event possible. I believe that it is very fitting to have an Olympics-like event to celebrate global entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurs help to drive the human race forward by daring to dream and working hard to turn those dreams into reality. They manifest the potential of the human spirit into a tangible material reality that helps to improve the lives of our fellow humans on this planet. Thanks again very much for this wonderful event. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here, and thank all of you. Have a great evening.
And last but not the least, here are the late stage winners. The late stage bronze winner is Twiga Food, representing Nairobi Lions from Kenya. The late stage silver winner is Monarch Tractor, representing the Palo Alto Pumas from USA. And the late stage gold winner is Green Monday, representing Hong Kong Dolphins from China.
Congratulations to our late stage winners. And now it's time to hear from the gold medal winner, Green Monday, representing the Team Hong Kong Dolphins. We would like to invite the founder and CEO of Green Monday, David Young.
Hi, I'm David Young, founder of Green Monday. We are humbled and proud to be winner of the ESG finals this year. Green Monday, since we started 10 years ago, have been advocating diet change to counter climate change. With this great platform and network, We look forward to further our collaboration and partnership with all of you to accelerate this movement as the clock is ticking in terms of us combating the biggest humanity crisis of our generation. Look forward to joining hands with all of you, and once again, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to the organizer and to all the supporters of Green Monday over the years.
Congratulations, winners. You all fought hard and came out victorious.
Imagine a world with 1,000 great leaders. Where are they? Help us find them. The lead search has begun. Join us at tGELF.org. Shuruaat hu main.
Ladies and gentlemen, with that, this memorable evening comes to a close. My congratulations to all the winners and participants. Thank you for being an inspirational source of great ideas, innovation, strategy, and execution. The biggest winner today is the world of entrepreneurship. With that, I, Shibani Dandekar, and my lovely co-host, Ekaterina Leonenkova, we'd like to take your leave and wish all our entrepreneurs the very best of luck, and we thank you all for being here today. Welcome to the ESG family, and we look forward to seeing you for an even bigger and more impactful ESG 2022.
Oh, sister, mister, look who's made a man's up. And now I can't find the reasons not to give up. Teachers, leaders, dreamers, let's go. They always take the right away, leave the bill and make you pay. We can change the world. Is that a lie they told us? We can change the world. We'll shine a light back on it. We can change the world. So we got to come together now. Got to come together now. Got to come together now. See, I don't like it any more than you do. But in your ignorance, that bliss is void. So it's about time, be humble and realize that we are one and the same, unique and one of a kind. Cause brighter days come ahead when we join together. Put your best foot forward, go and make an effort. This is AY, I spoke to Akon, Marvin Gaye, we in the grapevine. Let's have a great time, let's change the world, influence great minds. I'm trying to pay my version of Picasso, this is colossal. So they always take the right away, leave the bill and make you pay. We can change the world. Is that a lie they told us? We can change the world. We'll shine a light back on it. We can change the world. So we got to come together now. Got to come together now. Got to come together now. Oh, we've got to come together.